Hey everyone, apologies for the delayed start, a little technical difficulties here, but we are ready to rumble with the Norwegian Aqua and the MSC World America. Drop in the comments who you got your bids on, who's going to win the SmackDown, because we have, five cruisers including me, but four cruisers who've been on at least one of these ships and one cruiser who's been on both. Oh, thank you, Carly. Thank you, girl. It's the after work look. But welcome in Alan Daniel. Welcome in Phil and D's Travel. Welcome in Carlene. Randy, what's up? Long time no see. Sydney Stephan, welcome in everyone. Oh, Phil got his bid on Team Aqua. All right, Team Aqua. Thank you guys. Hey, Leslie Ann. All right, so without further ado, because I know I have a lot of questions for the people who sailed aboard the Aqua, for the people who sailed aboard the World America. So without further ado, I am going to start bringing our guests in no particular order. And then we'll start throwing our questions at them. I have a few prepared questions. And if you have additional questions, let us know in the comments in the chat. What's up, G Fox? Welcome in. Thank you for being here, everybody. All right. I am gonna start by letting in our first guest in the studio, adding her to the stage. What's up, Carlene?
Hello. I hope everyone can hear me okay. How are you? I'm feeling the after work. I'm like, find the energy. Energy.
Yeah, I know Carlene is usually running in from work around probably the same time I am, because she usually goes live at 7 p.m. on Mondays. And I know she's usually, she understands the rush. And hopefully everybody in the chat understands too and got home safely and is ready for the chat. All right, so we have Carlene here. And once everyone comes in, then I'll go around and, introduce to those who may not know these folks, but I don't know where you've been if you don't know these people.
I'm Team MSC.
Next up is Kiki.
Hey, what's up? Throwing a little Team Aqua in the building today. What's going on, people?
Team MSC for Sydney Stephan. That's right. So we got a little balance. So far, we only have two votes that I see. I'm going to go through the chat in a minute, but let us get to the stage. Raquel from MH Family Adventures.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Raquel?
I'm good. Here with David Ruffin. He had to join me.
I thought I saw a little bit of David Ruffin.
He can't help himself. Hey, Carlene. Hey, Kiki.
Joining us.
Hi.
All right. We have one more person coming to the stage. Raquel in Switzerland. One more person, Leslie Ann.
Hi,
oh yeah, you did that.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You hear me? Okay, perfect. Hi, Raquel.
Yep.
Hi, Kiki. Hi,
hello.
Hi, Peter.
All right. So we have a team. We have a team MSC with Carlene. We have a team Aqua with Kiki. I don't know. They're throwing in the shit that they've been on, but we're gonna get into the details. I don't know what team. Raquel is Switzerland, according to Carlene in the chat, but Raquel, we'll let you tell us if you have a team yet. And I definitely don't know what team Leanne Travel is on, because she actually cruised on both ships. So you guys want to let us know, or you want to?
I'm MSC all the way. MSC all the way.
MSC all the way. And we're going to get into a little bit of Raquel's story if she's willing to share, because I think I knew that, but we'll get in and see how much she'll share with everyone. And Leslie Ann, do you have a team Aqua or team MSC?
Well, as you know, I was on both ships, so I have both MSC and Aqua. But right now, I'm going to say team MSC.
Wow. Okay. So we got to get into the chat. Hi, Catherine Koo. Welcome in. Sydney Stephan, welcome. All right. So I'm going to start with the first question. And as we're going through the questions and listening to the responses, I'll pull up some of these comments so we can see who all is in the building. All right. So to start off, everyone knows the MSC World America and NCL, Norwegian Aqua, both debuted this year, 2025. Both about a month ago. Yeah, April 2025. And so these lovely ladies have been on at least one of the ships. And we are going to ask about the boarding process because that's where we always start, right? So with boarding the ship, how was the terminal? How was the boarding process? And yeah, all right. So let's start with Carlene.
Oh, there we go. All right. So to be fair, it was, the inaugural sailing for MSC World America. So for the most part, it was pretty smooth with the Terminal AA, the new terminal. I had a little bit of a glitch because that was my first Diamond cruise, and the terminal folks were, sorting out who has what perks and how the perks actually work. But it was pretty smooth sailing. I didn't hit any bumps until we got up the gangway and then onto the ship. There was a bit of a backlog because people are going to be tempted to get on that first elevator bay versus walking through. It's not very intuitive to keep walking into the main atrium area. People want to stop right there. So I would say the only glitch is there was a traffic jam on the inaugural sailing to get onto the gangway. So I'm not sure if it's been fixed in subsequent sailing. So I would give it had a score like, I would say an 8 out of 10, taking small points from staff awareness as well as the backlog on the gangway.
Okay, so that is Carlene for Team MSC. And after we go through this question, I realized I told you guys Leslie Ann was on both ships. We didn't really talk about which ships all these ladies went on. And so after this round of questions, we'll get into that a little bit. And since we're on Team MSC right now, I am going to jump to Raquel, who I know also sailed aboard the MSC World America. And Raquel, you can, at least in answering this, you can start off by saying how you came about that cruise. Because we have a celebrity in the building. Actually, all these ladies
not at all.
Me.
Not at all.
Go ahead, Raquel.
Yes. So my embarkation day was probably a lot different because I was on the sailing before the inaugural, which was the media preview sailing. So I was invited on board by MSC. They're one of our partners. And so my experience may be a little bit different than the others, but embarkation was, it was smooth. It was quick and easy. There wasn't anyone on board. By the time I got on the ship, I was actually one of the first on because I like to, board early. The sailing was only at half capacity. There were quite a few people that were on board just for the day, but the actual sailing itself was at like half capacity. So it was a breeze getting on, no issues. The terminal itself, for me, was very organized with the facial recognition, and the check-in was quick and easy, and probably the quickest I've ever had. But that walk to the ship can be long. Now they do have what do you call the moving walkways, so that made it a lot easier. But yeah, no issues at all getting on board.
Oh, very good to hear. And on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give your boarding experience?
I would honestly say a 10. No issues at all.
Love that. All right. So we're going to go over to the person who was kind of Switzerland here, Leslie Ann, because you boarded both ships. And so let's start with your MSC World America boarding. How did that go?
Okay, so the terminal was lovely. It's a new terminal AA, and at first it was really, really smooth. I think I got there like about 1:30ish. Can't remember exactly, but it was going smooth until they decided to call everyone to board. So at that point in time, it got really chaotic because versus using the numbers, they started to call everyone. So there was like this whole big jam session to get on the actual ship. So for that, they lost some points there, but it was not bad. It wasn't bad. If it wasn't for that, it would have been a smooth embarkation day.
So you said you got there around 1:30. Do you remember like about how long it took before that happened when they started to call everyone?
Getting into the terminal and doing everything, like checking in, that was really smooth. It was like about 10 minutes for me. Okay. But because of that, it actually took like about maybe half an hour or a little bit more because of the jam session. It got really, really crowded. And people like anxious to get on the ship, So it got really, really crowded. I probably got there a little before. I just can't remember the time, to be honest.
No, that's fine.
Like 12, yeah.
That's fine. one of the things that I think I've started to do is to get there like closer to the afternoon too. So that's why I was curious, because back in the day, I'd be wanting to be like at 10 o'clock boarding the ship. So just trying to figure out in this case what might be better. But Leslie Ann, you also, okay, you already said they lost some points, but where do they land on a scale of 1 to 10 for you?
Yeah, I will give them an 8. I'll give it an
Okay.
8 because it was pretty much smooth sailing until they called all the boarding passes. So I'll give it an 8.
And the Norwegian Aqua, how was your boarding on that ship? And where did you board that from? Because we all know MSC was in Miami. I know the Aqua has kind of jumped around and made a few different moves. Where did you board the Aqua?
So I boarded the Aqua in Miami as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, for some reason, the facial recognition was not working. So I had to go to the side and see the agents to the side. But it was really smooth. It was like less than 3 minutes. They were able to verify me, and then I was on my way. Waiting, I sat there for like 10 minutes, and then it was smooth sailing onto the ship. So it practically took me about half an hour to get on the ship.
Okay, so about the same amount of time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the number you give them? What's the number you give Norwegian?
Smooth, I guess my facial recognition, I can't take points off for that. So I'll actually give them a 9 because it was smooth. It was really smooth for me.
All right, that's interesting because I know you picked MSC, so I'm ready to hear all about this kind of back-to-back or side-to-side experience. All right, so Kiki, I apologize for the delay, but we have now come around to Team Norwegian Aqua. How was your boarding day experience in terms of the process to get on the ship? Oh, I can't hear you. Wait, one second.
Are you back with me?
Nope, that's my fault. I'm here now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, the process to get on Norwegian Aqua, we boarded in Miami. And first of all, no credit to Norwegian at all. This was the most bare I've ever seen the port of Miami. There were 2 ships total in port that day. And I'm used to seeing like 7 ships lined up there. So just the entire process from start to finish was really quick. We got in. I didn't expect to see the facial recognition feature there because this was my first time sailing Norwegian. So I don't know if that's a thing that has been with Norwegian for a while or if that's new to the port, but I thought that worked really well for us. And we got everything we needed and we're on the ship within like 10 to 15 minutes. It was very quick. So no complaints there. I got to give them a 10 on the embarkation. I can't argue with that. And I like that they had some stuff in the terminal for us to look at. We had a little bit of scenery on the walk. They had some model ships and things like the oversized model ships for you to kind of explore while you walk through. I thought it was kind of cool. So nice. I'm going to give them that. Now, my overall score is going to be different, so be prepared. But my embarkation day score is a 10.
Got it. 10 out of 10 for embarkation. Okay, for Aqua. All right. That's fair. Thank you, ladies. So my bad. Again, with the rushing in after work and just wanting to jump in and be respectful of everybody's time, we jumped right into questions. But I do see from the chat, there are a number of different people here, from all our channels combined. So thank you all for showing up and showing support and coming to hear all about these 2 new ships. But with that said, I want to give these lovely ladies a chance to introduce themselves. To me, they are now friends. They are, in some cases, confidants. I can, rely on them for a good laugh or a good quick answer to questions on cruising. But I want you all to meet them real briefly. They're content creators, but they are also travel advisors, very skilled and experienced travel advisors, as you can see, already talking about the newest ships of the year so far. And so I want to give these ladies a chance to say hello and tell you a little bit about themselves, their channels, and towards the end, we can jump into anything that's coming down the pipeline because I do know a few of them have some group cruises. They have lots going on. So Carlene, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlene. My channel is See It With C. I work a 9 to 5, but I travel the world like I don't. And I landed on MSC World America because, as you all know, last year, I think I took a little bit of a hiatus from inaugural cruises. So I need to be a little strategic for my channel. I figured a lot of people are going to spend all their money on icons. So I went ahead and made my deposit for World America. And I was able to get on the first 7-day sailing. So that's me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, Carlene. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Kiki.
I'm coming off mute this time. My name is Kiki. I'm from Team Reese Travels. That's the name of our channel. The channel is shared between my husband and I and our 11-year-old son. And we just set out to show people that it can be fun and adventurous and a good time to sail with kids. And so that's what our channel is all about. You will see me sometime on my own, sometimes sailing with friends. But for the most part, we like to show the family aspect of travel. And so we landed on Aqua because that was the one that worked out better for our schedule. That was the one that would allow all three of us to be able to travel together for that week. And so that's how we ended up on board.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone here from See It With C, for everyone here from Team Reese Travels. As I'm going through the chat, I see names I hadn't seen before. Carlin Ramos, Mario, thank you guys for coming in. There are quite a few that I'm going through. So thank you all. And next up, we're going to have Leslie Ann introduce herself.
So hi guys, my name is Leslie Ann, aka Leanne Travel. You know, I've been a travel advisor for a while, but my whole backstory was that I was actually selling cruises as a travel advisor, but I was 100%, or I would say 200% scared of cruising until I believe it was either 2017 or 18 when the Carnival Horizon came to New York City. So my best friend and I, we decided to go on a cruise. I walked in, it was playing my genre, soca. Oh, we having a nice time. And that was it for me. My genre, I loved it, enjoyed it. I didn't even know what to do on the ship, but I was hooked. I was like, what have I been scared of? Because, you know, being a travel advisor and not sailing or not cruising, I had no clue what I was doing because I made so many mistakes. But now I'm truly in it. I'm like hooked, totally hooked. So that's me, Leanne Travel.
You are on a ship like every other week, like these two. So yeah, I see that.
It
And
seems like
next,
it. I'm really, really hooked.
next up, Raquel. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Raquel from MH Family Adventures. I always say we're a cruise vlogging family, but actually we're kind of shifting from a lot of family to a lot of solo because I'm a full-time content creator, cruiser, and travel agency owner. Just completed my 70th cruise since 2019. So cruising is what I do, and that's what I love. And I'm gonna always say that I advocate for MSC. I love MSC. You guys probably hear me talk a lot about them. Not a huge fan of NCL. As you guys may or may not know, I actually canceled my Aqua sailing the day before I was scheduled to be on Aqua. Just I'm a cruiser, love cruising, everything about cruising or travel in general. And I like to share our family adventures, my solo adventures on YouTube and social media. So I appreciate you inviting me on.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. As I said, all these ladies are celebrities to me, but with Raquel and her story, look, y'all need to go if you're not already subscribed to MH Family Adventures on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and she shares it. It's all there. But I mean, the way Raquel has grown, but it's not like she just swept in and grew like the wind blew in, but you could see her work and her time cruising is truly, yes, we all love cruising, but it's truly her job, her work that she shares with us. And so I appreciate you taking time out to join us today and to give us your expertise, your input. And because I ended on you, I'm going to start with you, Raquel, looking at my questions. The ship itself is the next category for the SmackDown. With the Norwegian Aqua, you chose to cancel. With the MSC World America, you chose to go forward with your cruise. Is there anything about the ship itself that made you make that decision before even stepping on board?
As far as canceling Norwegian Aqua?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Norwegian is probably my least favorite cruise line. It is my least favorite cruise line. And so honestly, when I booked it, I'm always thinking like business minded and okay, what do I need to do? What ships do I need to get on to get the content, to get the business? And so honestly, I booked Norwegian Aqua and I didn't want to book Norwegian Aqua. And then I kind of had this epiphany. I think I had such a great time on MSC World America that like I truly like I said, I was invited on board, so I didn't really have to pay for anything, but I would have paid to stay on the inaugural. And I was actually booked on the inaugural and I canceled that. That's a whole nother story. But once I got off that ship, first off, I was exhausted because I did a side by side. I got off MSC World America and went on Disney Dream with Joe Marie. And so I was completely exhausted. So I was like, I'm really not feeling it. But I was just kind of feeling like if it's something that I don't feel in my heart is, something I'm going to enjoy or like, forget getting the content, forget trying to get clients booked on it. It is what it is. And so I just have not overall, I've sailed Norwegian 2 or 3 times. It's just not my cup of tea. And so World America really, really set it off for me. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something, it's something that I like and I enjoy doing. And everything about MSC World America, the ship itself, was amazing. I was really curious to see the new design because I've been on 10 other MSC ships. So I was curious to see because I heard how people were saying it kind of mimicked some of the Oasis class ships for Royal Caribbean. And so I was curious to see kind of what, how it compared. And honestly, there wasn't an area of the ship that I personally didn't like or didn't care for.
Got it. Okay. So with that said, how was it navigating the ship? How were the elevators? Because I know that's a big thing, especially with the types of elevators that MSC has. I think they're called smart elevators. I'm not 100% sure. And well, we'll do that first, and then we'll get to your room separately. How was that?
I felt like it because there were some similarities to this ship with like MSC Seascape, Seashore, some of the other ships. There were a lot of similarities in the layout. It was more so like the World Promenade, World Galleria area that was a little bit different. So for me, it was easy to navigate. I love how they have like at each elevator bank, they have that directory so you kind of know where you're going. So really, it wasn't any issue as far as knowing where to go. I love that the World Galleria was 3 stories. So pretty much if you're on one deck and you realize, oh, the steakhouse is here, you just walk down, the stairs. Everything was kind of right there in the World Galleria, World Promenade area. So for me, the ship, the design of the ship, the way it's laid out, I think even for a new cruiser, you can easily get around because they have several directories. The app is useful. So no issues getting around the ship.
Got you. Okay. That sounds promising because, I love my MSC too. So looking forward to getting on that World America. And I love a nice ship that looks good and is easy to navigate. We're going to jump though, even though we're going to get to your room. For the flow of this, I kind of want to juxtapose these ships. So we're going to jump to Kiki and find out how the Norwegian Aqua aesthetic and navigating was for you, even though I already know this answer.
I would say navigating the ship I thought was good. I found spots that I really, really enjoyed. I found spots that like I fell in love with deck 8. I stayed there most of the sailing. It's a really nice alternative to your typical like pool deck. A little bit more laid back, options to, grab some food pretty easily, and grab something to drink pretty easily. And it's more just kind of a little bit, it's got a little swag to it. I like that area of the ship. But the ship overall, I thought was difficult to navigate outside of that space there because it was crowded. And I've been on other ships before. I know the ships are crowded. I know the Caribbean sailings are crowded. I know that when you get into summer and spring break and all of those things can impact it. But this felt more crowded than I have felt on a ship maybe ever. Definitely since pre-COVID. But that made it a little bit difficult to navigate for me. When you think about trying to access food at high traffic times a day was hard. Trying to get a pool chair or a deck chair and things like that got to be a little bit difficult. Even just moving through certain, I thought the configuration was a little weird sometimes. Like you'd have to walk through the buffet to get to the pool deck if you wanted to get there. That kind of stuff I just thought was a little bit weird in the way that they designed the ship.
Gotcha.
And I heard they made improvements from the previous ship. So I was like, well, okay, if you say so. Yeah, overall, I thought that was a little difficult, but if I could stay in my little bubble world of deck 8 of Ocean Boulevard, then I was fine.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's interesting because you've been on the largest ship in the world, Icon, and this was harder to navigate on the Norwegian Aqua. Okay.
Never once felt crowded on Icon. And that's why I think it was more of an issue of like crowd control versus too many people or like that kind of thing. I think there's probably some things they could have did different to impact that.
All right. So with that, I want to hop over to Leslie Ann, who was also on the Aqua. If you could give us like a quick summary of your experience navigating, whether it was like Kiki's or not, and then from the Aqua to MSC, how you would compare.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with Kiki. The navigation of the ship was really weird. And if they said they made improvements, they did not, because I went on the Prima, and that was my, I hated the Prima for that because of the navigation of the ship, especially the fact that what Kiki said, in order to get to the Lido deck, you have to go through the buffet. So see you standing there trying to get your omelet, there's a line, and then the worst part about it, they say, there's a sign, you have to have clothes on, you have to have a cover up on. And see someone going to the pool, and they don't want to cover up, but they can't get to the pool because they have to go through the buffet, and they're not allowed to go through the buffet unless they have a cover up on and they have shoes on. So, it's no fault of the guest. So they need to really change that design. That's what I hated most about the Aqua. Hate is a strong word, but that's what my pet peeve was about the ship. So pro tip for whoever is going on the Aqua, if you're going to the Lido, do not take the aft elevators, take the forward elevators. That way you're going to come up forward and you're right, it's going to lead you straight to the Lido. But if you come up in the aft, you have to go through the buffet. And then they put the ice cream machine near the entrance of the buffet. So when you coming out of the buffet, trying to get in the buffet from the Lido, here's the line for the ice cream. So it's like a whole congestion right in that area. Deck 8, I love Deck 8. That was beautiful. I agree with Kiki 100% with that. But the floor, even navigating the ship itself on the inside, to me was really difficult. There was no flow. There was no flow.
And compare that to MSC World America.
Oh wow, loved it. Loved. The first thing when I boarded MSC and I got to the elevators, the first thing I saw was the destination elevators, the handicap accessible button. I literally did a short on that because on most of the ships that have, I haven't sailed many MSC or different, I have sailed a lot of ships, but I don't know if any of them have the handicap accessible button, because to me, I've always said that. Every time I saw the destination elevators, I always say they should have a handicap accessible. So that wowed me. That was the first thing that wowed me when I got on the ship. So, and I literally did a video about it on my YouTube channel. Then I also love the aft elevator. Is it the World Promenade? The World Promenade? They have that nice glass elevator. I think it stops on like 3 or 4 floors. So if you all the way in the promenade, you don't have to go inside the ship to get to other decks. You could just use that glass elevator. You get a nice view. Really nice. Although I'm scared of heights. My leg was shaking, but I was able to, get to the other decks from there. So in terms of flow, the MSC, it was much better. I really enjoyed that ship flowing from floor to floor. No problems at all.
Well, to me, that's pretty clear why we see Rich and Jazz in the chat is saying they're also Team MSC. Welcome in a Rich and Jazzy Life. I have to say, I give Rich and Jazzy Life a lot of credit for me even connecting with these ladies because, you know, a lot of us are melanin at sea folks. And yeah, you know, if you know, you know. And if you don't, check them out and you'll find out. But thank you for sharing that, Leslie Ann. I am going to get your ratings on the overall navigation, but I want to hear from Carlene about her MSC experience navigating the ship, elevators, things like that.
Sure, but first, some guy named Alan, I don't know if you know him or not, he is saying that the host has not introduced herself or her channel. And
I know.
I've heard she has a little bit of experience in MRC herself, so you might want to do that. So Alan, we don't have to ban Alan from the chat.
Let me tell you guys, the chat right now is crazy because of all 5 channels being combined. So yeah, I haven't even gotten to Alan, but thank you for that, Carlene. Thank you, Alan. Okay, for those of you who I have not yet interacted with or met, thank you for being here. My name is Peta Gay, and friends call me Peta. And our channel is My Cruising Family. So we are hosting this SmackDown. And, you know, I welcome you all. I love to cruise. I don't know what number cruise I'm on. I know it's 20 something. I wish it could be more. But, you know, I'm here and trekking along. MSC World America was something that I had booked to sail on the inaugural. So I would have been with Carlene and Leslie Ann. And at that point, Raquel, because I believe she was also still considering going, but plans switched up and, you know, I'm still booked. Thankful Raquel flagged this for me because, as I said, they're also confidants in a lot of ways. She flagged MSC, when you book an MSC cruise, fun fact, under a Fantastica booking, which with MSC you can book Bella, Fantastica, Aurea, or Yacht Club. And if you book Fantastica, it does allow you to make one courtesy switch of your cruise even after final payment. And so that's what I did. I was able to switch my MSC World America cruise because of circumstances. I was not able to do the inaugural, even though I was paid in full. I had no penalties. And so we will be sailing this summer. And so I was really interested in all these ladies' content, including Kiki, though she did not get on World America because we are also booked on the Norwegian Aqua. So we will be experiencing these ships for ourselves this year. But, you know, before that,
you are MSC World Class Ship OG because you were one of the few channels that has MSC World Europa content. So at some point in this chat, I would love, you know, because I know you've been dialed into all the content. I would love for you to talk about like the differences between, because that's what everybody was asking about, like what's the difference between Europa, what's the difference between World America, and I know you've been studying the ships. So.
Yeah, Carlene. Yes, see. Welcome to Carlene, my co-host of the evening. But no, she's right. I haven't even been telling her anything about it, but I have been studying the vlogs. There are a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. But yes, MSC World Europa, my family and I did sail on that pre-inaugural from Dubai. And it was great. I loved it. And so immediately knew I did want to book World America when it came out. So a little disappointed that plans changed, but I'm excited because I still have that cruise to look forward to. But yeah, and Norwegian Aqua, it's been a while since I've done a newer Norwegian ship, but we just did the Norwegian Pearl. So those vlogs are rolling out before and after this from the Maxwell cruise earlier this year. So hopefully if you guys haven't been watching those, you'll tune into that. But thank you, Carlene, and thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And that's me, but we're going to turn it back to Carlene.
So I'm talking about navigation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I will say this was my 4th MSC cruise. And so in regards to World America, it felt like if like the Meravillians, Seashore, and then the World Class ships had a baby, that would be World America to me. So but it still took me a while to orient myself. So I would say it took about, I think, day 3 to 4, I could finally say, oh, if the elevator drops me off here, then I know which way to go, left or right. So I would say it was pretty, and the size of the ship, it was just kind of like just getting to know everything. It wasn't necessarily always intuitive. And the elevator bays kind of all look alike. So it'll drop you off into a brown elevator bay and you're like, okay, when I come out, where exactly am I? They do have signage around the ship that help you out a bit. It can get a little boxy in between, just like when you're in the middle. Sometimes in the middle of the ship, you would think you'll be able to go straight across. It took me till like a day 4 or 5 to realize, okay, you could actually cut through the back of Gen Project to not have to go downstairs. Well, the signage isn't really intuitive to say, just keep walking and you'll be on the other side of, that lounge space. Leslie Ann hit on a little bit about accessibility, which is important because I know MH Family Ventures frequently talks about accessibility, which is a very important topic. It seemed relatively accessible. There was a point that I noticed a lady who was a wheelchair user in the buffet. She was flagging out that like reaching up to get items off, she had to ask a staff member, it's like, could you give me a croissant? And those are things that people just don't, at first I could hear her voice and I thought she was being like a little, like, just kind of bossy. And then I looked and I was like, oh yeah, how that's situated. It's, something that is an accessibility issue. So small things here and there, but overall, I think the biggest thing for World America is a big, beautiful ship, but it does get a little choppy in some places. It's going to take a while to navigate. I know I have a mom who is like 76, and the last time we got on a Carnival cruise, I'm learning sometimes older cruises can get disoriented. So I was like, this will be a ship that I can see my mother getting lost on. But after about day 4-ish, you can kind of start picking up things. But sometimes now, whenever I cruise, I have that in the back of my mind of like, okay, my mom got lost on Carnival Legend. Like, what would she be like on this ship? Which helps me get perspectives for like my older clients. So just something to be mindful of like the ship doesn't always flow all the way through or down and up. And then there are some slight accessibility features that you should be aware of. Love the destination elevators though.
Oh, I had a little glitch. All right. That's good information. Thank you for that, Carlene. Destination elevators have been hit or miss for some people, but I'm happy to hear that it's a hit on this one. And the accessibility features, a lot of us don't think about that. So that's good. Thank you. I actually had looped in like having you guys talk about your rooms, but because I know your content, and Leslie Ann, I don't know if I saw anything from you yet, but if I didn't, this is your tap to go ahead and do it, girl. Because I know you all have room tours up on your channels or, and your social media platforms. I'm going to skip over the in-depth part of the room, but I do want you guys to rate the ship on a scale of 1 to 10 and your room on a scale of 1 to 10. So we'll start with you, Carlene, in terms of your ship rating.
Ooh, okay. So if I ever say I want to sail a ship, it means I really liked it. And y'all, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I don't like giving out 10s too often, but I might have to give her.
Oh wow!
For the size of ship and the value, I only paid initially $1,000 for a 7-day cruise and an interior. I upgraded myself to a balcony for $1,500. So $1,500 for a 7-day cruise on the balcony. Where are you gonna find that?
That's huge. Yeah.
Nowhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be a little generous today. I could be nitpicky if I wanted to be. But I also think like with the inaugural things, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give her a 10. In regards to my cabin, initially I just wanted to be on the ship, so I booked an interior. And then as I got closer to sail day, I realized I had been selling a lot of interiors, and I'm like, you know what? 7 days, you don't need some sun. So I was like, let me pick a unique cabin because that was my first time experiencing an MSC ship that had the promenade. Is that what it's called? The promenade feature with the split in the back. I wanted to experience that, so I purposely upgraded to that type of room. I will say, and I left something I left in my comment card. I enjoyed being able to open my door and feel like I was still a part of everything, but I don't recommend that cabin for like light sleepers or people who have children who are going to be on certain sleep schedules because one evening, I'm not sure if it was by accident, they like left the soundtrack playing all night. And so it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I could hear like "World, hold on," and I'm like, "This was cute at like 9 o'clock. This is not cute at like 2 o'clock in the morning." So
Gotcha.
I left it on my. I don't want them to completely eliminate any of the entertainment, but I think it should maybe hours stop at like 10 p.m. or maybe they had it right in the morning, but like maybe 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Consider dialing back a little bit on the entertainment that's in the World Promenade. I think that's called, yeah, that area in the back. But I enjoyed that room though, because it made me feel like even if I stayed in my cabin, that I didn't feel like I was isolated from whatever else was going on the ship.
Yep, and you still had a little bit of the ocean view too, right?
And yes, that was definitely clutch. Like when I say like the best of all the worlds, like I got the entertainment for the ship. I can hear saxophone players, but then I can literally just turn my chair and I can just see like the picture frame ocean. So
nice. So 10 out of 10. I love it.
For the ship.
For the room. What about
the room? Because they need to work on that soundproofing. And I'm thinking about other people. I would give it like a 7, 8 out of, yeah. I'll go with a 7 because I can see somebody being really upset about that.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So that's fair. We're going to go over to Kiki for the ship. What's your vote 1 out of 10?
Ooh. Well, that's a good way to contrast because I'm definitely not being as generous with Aqua with the 10. I would say for the ship itself, I would give it a 7. And I think that might even be a little generous, but I think that the ship was beautiful. Like I said, I loved that Ocean Boulevard area. But I think what it was really missing was wow factor. And while it was a nice ship, while it was a pretty ship, you got to remember it's rolling out at the same time as World America, right? And so there's all this pomp and circumstance around World America, and we're all visibly seeing how beautiful that ship is on the news and on social media and everywhere. And to see them rolling out at the same time, it was a little like the overall was a little bit disappointing in terms of wow factor for the ship. Not saying it wasn't pretty, not saying it wasn't nice. Just, when you're looking at them both at the same time, World America's gonna take it for that. Even not having never been on it, I can tell you that. but yeah, I would give it a 7. The room, I would say, I would probably give that about a 7 too. And honestly, the room gave everything that it needed to give. We did an interior cabin, family interior. We had 3 of us. There was space in there. It was exactly what you would expect an interior cabin to be, right? Like you got few beds, you got your desk, you got your bathroom, that kind of thing. The one thing that I will say though, we had that interior cabin on deck 16, which was right below the pool deck, and it was loud. We could hear noise from the pool deck all day, all night. Anytime there was anything going on party-wise on the pool deck, we could hear that. And so that was a little bit of feedback that I did put in the room tour, and actually had some people comment like, hey, we're booked there, we about to go change it now. So something to look out for on that room.
That is good to know. Yeah, I'm here taking notes, y'all, because I really am. This is a battle, so we're gonna see who's gonna take it. Leslie Ann, how would you rate MSC on a scale of 1 to 10 for World America? And you know what? Yeah, MSC, the ship, and Norwegian, the ship. What ratings would you give it?
Okay, so for MSC, World America, I actually give it a 10 for the ship. I even for my cabin, which was an interior, I would give it a 10 because overall the ship was beautiful. To me, the flow, this is the first ship that I was able to navigate without getting lost as much, because normally day 5 I'm still getting lost on ships. But on MSC World America, it was so much easier for me to navigate. And I actually will give it a 10 because I think it was just, the flow was very nice. I love the fact that they had stuff for kids, even on deck. Carly, remind me what deck was that with Luna Park? Deck 8?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think deck 8. Where there's 3 decks. So the lowest one had a Luna Park. So if you had kids and you don't want to go all the way up to the kids area, you could have them play the arcade games right there, whilst you could be shopping So they kind of thought of everything. With World America, they took the best of celebrity, they took the best of Royal Caribbean. They took the best of whatever they had with MSC, because I've only sailed on Meraviglia. That's my only MSC. So this was my second one. So in my opinion, they took the best of all these ships and they put it in one. Even Norwegian, because the Luna Park in that area, it wasn't fully completed because, Colleen, I don't know if you can remember, the staircase, I think I told you, there was the when you enter, you had to go down the stairs, but they haven't really retracted the seats, because the seats in Luna Park could actually retract and make it like a theater. So we didn't see that, because I noticed the two doors on the upper area. So when they retract and they put the seats, then that's a theater style. So they pretty much have two theaters. So it was really nice. I'll definitely give it a 10. I highly recommend it, whether it's for kids, solos, and
Oh,
price
that's good
points.
to hear.
For,
And what you just said is timely because Kiki just had, I want to say it was a reel or a short on Norwegian converting one of their spaces the same way, folding the seats and pushing it back. So yeah, I mean, people knock MSC for it, but they take ideas from others and they'll tell you they make it better. So how would you rate Norwegian?
And the thing is, the kids would enjoy it. I recommend it for kids, for any family. And my cabin, oh, by the way, sorry, my cabin was an interior, and it was so huge. I had my own closet. I actually took my nephew for his birthday, so I had my own closet with two sides, and he had his own closet for two sides. It was a cabin for 4 people, but for 2, it was perfect. I didn't even have to put my suitcases under the bed. There was so much room to move around. So definitely 10, 10, 10. I'll give it a 10.
Okay, and that's MSC. What about Norwegian though? Because MSC looks like they have a nice lead here.
So I did Norwegian Aqua solo. So I would give it, my cabin itself, I'll give it a 10. It was perfect. The glass aesthetic. No, I'll give it a 9. I'm sorry, I retract, because there's no refrigerator. So but you could ask for an ice bucket, so they bring the ice bucket for you, but there was no refrigerator in the solo cabin. But the aesthetic of the solo cabin, beautiful. I did a shorts on it, quick video on it. So for that, I'll give it a 9.
And for the ship,
access to the solo lounge was great, but as a solo traveler, they need to do the solo meetup better. It was just a little chaotic with that. Yeah, they need to improve on that. Meeting in bars instead of the solo lounge. So that was the room. I'll give it a 9. The ship itself, I don't know. I don't even know. Kiki, that 7 was kind of high.
I told you that 7 was generous. I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you hit me in, because I'd be thinking I'm crazy.
Yeah. I'll give it a 6.5, and that's because I truly love my cabin. I love my solo cabin. I'll give it a 6.5 because to me, navigating the ship, it was horrible for me. It could be good for others, but for me, I did not like the navigation, because even when I wanted to go to the Aqua coaster, I was going loops and bounds. Kiki, I don't know if you were able to get there, because you had to go to deck 18, and then the elevator doesn't go to 19, and then you have to take a staircase.
Yep.
I was baffled. I was trying to get to the gym, and I had to go up, and then I had to come back down because you couldn't go straight across. And I was like, this is crazy.
And there was only one elevator that actually went to 18. And good luck if you found that one. I honestly want to drop my score even more now that you said you have a refrigerator in your room, because that's pretty standard on cruise ships now, right? Like, how do you not put a cooler or something. I
Wow.
don't know. That's weird.
But you could ask for the ice. I guess the reason why they didn't do it because you're so near to the solo lounge, so you could go to the lounge and you could get your cappuccinos, your cafe, your beverages, the ice machine. So maybe that's why, because you have access to the solo lounge. So that's the only thing. But you could ask. They have some really cute ice buckets, so you could get that. And my room steward put it in my room every day. But navigating the ship, I'll give it a 6.5. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was difficult. It was
And
really
I thank you
difficult.
for that. And that's why you ladies are here,
Yeah.
because I know you're not going to lie to me. What I am trying to do while I'm listening to you regarding navigating the ship and having to walk through a buffet to get to the pool and going in circles to find the aqua coaster is to try to find the comment, because there were a few comments in here that did not surprise me one bit about the food. Yeah, okay. So I see Kiki answered a little bit about the food. I definitely want us to get into the food because, yes, we are definitely there to be on a beautiful ship. But honestly, if they could hit the food out of the park, that's like half the battle with my cruises. I'm a foodie. So I definitely want to hear about food. So we're going to kick off the food part with Raquel after she tells me her score for the ship.
So my score for the ship, I want to give it a 10. I
Uh-oh.
can't give it a 10. This is why. So my issue with World America, which is probably the only issue, and it wasn't really truly an issue for me, but after I sailed, I had a lot of comments on my videos, and I had some clients to sail with younger children. So where this ship has a lot more features for families and for younger kids, there are certain areas, like if you've cruised MSC before, they have an amazing like splash area for the kids, like a pool area with the little jungle, thing. And the way it's set up on this ship, they actually took that whole, like it on most of the other ships, it's like right in the middle of the ship. It's a huge area. It's actually kind of off in the corner. And it's a really, really small, just splash area, one little small slide. I'm talking for like your 6 and under kids. And so I've had some clients recently to sail, and they're like, my kid can't get on the water slide. They can't get on this because they're not tall enough. They don't, So for me, because I know like those areas like Joe Marie has loved, and a lot of other kids love those areas, they took those away, or that pool area away on World America, made it a lot smaller, and it's kind of tucked off in the corner. You really don't even know it's there unless you're going down one of the water slides. It's just, and I don't even know if I captured it fully in my vlog because I didn't realize it was there. So for that reason, that I would give it a 9. I feel like there's a lot of activities, a lot of things on the ship, but for those younger children, they may not be able to do the bumper cars or the skating, things like that. So kids maybe 8 and older, I think they're going to have a blast. They're going to have fun. But I think from a family perspective, family channel, I would say 9 out of 10 for that reason only. But other than that, no other issues with the ship itself. Now, the cabin, I would say, I mean, it's your typical MSC cabin. I don't think I've ever really rated MSC's cabins 10 out of 10. I do appreciate the fact that there's a glass door. Most of their ships have the glass doors, or the ones that I've sailed on have the glass doors. And I just felt like the balconies on the ship were a little bit smaller than the other ships. So the balcony was smaller, and I found the bed to be extra firm. But I think that's consistent with MSC. So for that reason, I would say probably a 9 out of 10 for the cabin. But no major issues at all.
Thank you for that. All right. So 9 out of 10 for both ship and cabin. And now, I mean, I consider you a foodie too, Raquel, but you can tell me if you're not, but the food, how was the food on World America?
I found the food to be great. And I always tell it like it is when it comes to the food. And again, I've sailed on 10, 11 MSC cruises, and I have always said in my vlogs when the food wasn't good and when it was. And historically, MSC has this reputation of not having good food. And I will say, honestly, up until probably about a year and a half ago, that was truly the thing. Like the food just wasn't good on MSC. It just wasn't. There has been some shift with MSC over the last year and a half, where they have improved the menus, they've improved the food quality. And I honestly, like, I've been on Seashore recently, I've been on Meraviglia, I've been on some of the newer ships. haven't really had an issue with food. The issue that I've had with the other ships is that they didn't have enough included options. So it's truly either the buffet or the main dining room. Whereas World America, you're going to have some additional complimentary options. And so that's what I really appreciated about MSC World America. You have the, what's it called? Pizza Burger. You have that spot. I love that. Just a little pro tip, they have breakfast there, so you can avoid the buffet area and grab a quick bite there. So I appreciated the complimentary option. So I would say it, first off, it is the best food on any MSC ship that I've experienced. No issues. And I felt like the food quality was way better than the food on MSC Seashore. Some of the other ships, it's good, but the quality was a lot better on MSC World America. I felt like they had a bigger variety on the buffet. And again, I don't know whether, because I was on the media sailing, if our buffet looked different than if I go next week on MSC World America. But I just felt like they had some really nice options. I enjoyed the buffet, and so yeah, I would personally rank the food probably. I would almost say a 10 out of 10 for MSC standards compared to the other ships that I've been on. I would probably give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, that's big. That is, yeah, for MSC, that's huge. Thank you for that. Thank you. We're going to stick with MSC on this, and we're going to bounce it back to Leslie Ann for the food.
Okay, so for the food, I did one specialty dine-in, which was Pacos. So that was, I think for 2 specialty dining, it was $99 for the 2 specialty dining. I was there with my nephew. Pro tip, book your specialty dining early, like Colleen did. I did not, so, it was kind of difficult to get a restaurant because I waited so long, but I ended up doing Pacos, and that was amazing. I really enjoyed, as Kali did recommend, the orange salad. That was so good. You get to choose like 4 items from each, the cold and the hot. So, and that was per person. So it was 2 of us. So we had 8 entrees. Well, no, it was 4 and 4. So we had 8 entrees, 8 appetizers to choose from. So by the time we were ready for the main course, our stomach was full. I don't recommend the fish though. I love mine. The lamb chops was perfect for me. So specialty dining, I'll definitely give it 9.5 because the salmon was not the best. I'll give the specialty dining that. In terms of the food, the buffet was good. I love pizza and burger, especially they gave us that option. It was up until 3 a.m. I'm not sure. I think they have moved it to 2 because coming to the end of the sailing, they were kind of ending at 2. But that was our vibes, you go to the club, you do whatever, and then you have something, pizza and burger. I was able to get breakfast there on the port day, so that was a good tip as well. You could go there for breakfast. The buffet was good. Food, I'll give it a 9.5 as well for food overall because I really liked it. You know what? I take that back. I'll give it a 9 because my lobster was too small. I'm sorry. My lobster, I give it a 9 because my
MSC, y'all was so close, and then y'all gave her the baby lobster.
Yeah, they messed it up. I just remember my lobster.
You should have been at the table with her. She just, my little lobster. And her accent.
Right.
A whole meal. She held it up on her fork. It was,
oh my God.
It looked like a shrimp. It looked like a large shrimp. To me, the shrimp looked bigger. I'm sorry.
Man. All right. So 9 for the regular food, 9.5 for Paxos.
Yeah, all right. That's perfect.
Carlene, so while you were laughing
now or no? You do Aqua after. Okay.
Which? I can't hear you. Sorry.
No, I'm saying you'll do Aqua after, correct?
Oh, yeah. I'll do Aqua after. We're going to do MSC first. So, Carlene.
Yes. So I got on World America with a mission, and that was to try all the specialty dining restaurants. So I tried all of MSC specialty dining when I first sailed on Meraviglia, and I was like, this is crap. Like I was just not feeling most of their specialty dining concepts. The steakhouse wasn't great on Meraviglia. They have Ocean K restaurant, which is supposed to be like a seafood restaurant, and I went back to the dining room after eating at the specialty dining. So I got on World America with a mission because I was like, okay, cool. They have the new, Italy restaurant. They have my favorite Ola tacos. They had all the specialty dining, and then of course unveiling Paxos. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get the dining package for this sailing. And as soon as what Leslie Ann is talking about, I went on so much of a mission. Like as soon as I walked on board, I went to the first specialty dining that I saw and stood in line to get my dining reservations. And my strategy was just basically not be picky and let the dining room staff like get me to where I needed to be so I can experience everything. So I will say that's a tip if you really want to try all the specialty dining, particularly in the inaugural season. Don't be picky in regards to the time that they're going to place you. And actually was one of the restaurant managers. He did a phenomenal job of getting me placed at everything, but I went immediately. Another tip is because everybody boards on deck, 6, 7, 8 or 8 or whatever, go straight to the back of the ship to where Paxos is. Nobody's going to be there on boarding day. They can give you all of your dining reservations. So I can geek out a little bit about food because I experienced everything. I'll start with the buffet. Agree with Rockwell. That buffet was so good that I wouldn't even go to I went to main dining one time because I was just like, I can go to the buffet and, fix my plate myself, get as much as I want, and then get in, get out, and go on to my next activity. So they nailed it. And the buffet is 2 levels. So particularly in the morning time, go to the upstairs buffet. It's less crowded. And if it's too crowded, a lot of times the staff will tell you just go upstairs anyway. But if you want to avoid any of that, like the upstairs buffet was always a little more of a quiet experience. Let me see. Italy was cool. Italy, I did the short rib. It let me down a little bit. I would go back to Italy just to try their pasta before I totally write Italy off. I'm not saying it's bad. It just wasn't. I had the short rib and I was like, maybe I should try their pasta. Paxos is going to give you a whole lot of food. Go with the empty stomach. I would say Paxos 2 though, for me, is going to be a one and done because it was just kind of like, yay. It wasn't bad. It was just like, there are some places I can go over and over and over again. Like anytime I'm on a ship, I want to go to that restaurant. It's just Paxos was not that for me, but it was delicious. It had an exciting flavor profile. That orange salad, who would have thought oranges, salad, and some cheese and all that good stuff would have been a great thing. So they have amazing food. It left me to I had the fish too. So I was like, I'm still hungry, but you get 8 courses. The star of the show was Kaido Teppanyaki. That dang on chef, he seasoned the whole grill. So that was a really solid meal. I think I noticed too, though, that MSC has cut back on some of their portion sizes in specialty dining, though. So that should just be something to be mindful of. Ola Tacos is going to be consistent. It has been consistent. They just made me mad because my hack for MSC was I will always go to Ola Tacos for boarding day lunch. It's not open until 6 o'clock. And I get probably why they want people to keep flowing versus stopping because how World America flows. So other ships is usually open on sail away day. It wasn't. But Ola Tacos is still that girl on World America. Really good experience. Great tacos, great drinks. It looks like too that Ola Tacos might have a kiosk. That's going to be something I want to watch out for upcoming vlogs. They have a window set up. It wasn't fully functional, but I think they're going to have a quick eats window at Ola Tacos. So all of you all who are getting on for the rest of the year, look out for that. And yeah, it was all the stuff was so great. And then Pizza Burger, 2 o'clock in the morning while you're out partying. Go. And at first I was like, I'm going to hate this spot because I'm tired of pizza. Well, Pizza Burger has a great rotation. There's wings, there's fruit salad, there's nachos, there's ice cream, there's a beer machine. So don't underestimate Pizza Burger for either getting back on for port day. That was another hack. Just go to Pizza Burger after a long day at port. It'll be something ready for you. No one's there. And then those late night hours when you're trying to, soak up the day, stop at Pizza Burger. So If I had to rate everything, I'm going to take them up 1 point down just because for like the main dining room, I think it still has a lot of the MSC staples. It was also inaugural, so it was a little slow. While they rolled out some exciting concepts in regards to some of the new eateries, I still think they pumped them up more than they like might have tasted. But I appreciate them for trying. It was really great. So I'm gonna give the food experience a 9 because because it's food around every corner. So you can literally be on any floor. You say I'm hungry, you don't have to hike up to the buffet. It's literally food within arm's reach on World America. So 9.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You just spoke directly to my foodie heart. Love it. Thank you, Carlene. So we are going to quickly go to Kiki for Norwegian Aqua and the food experience, and then we'll bounce it back to Leslie Ann for Norwegian Aqua and the food experience.
Yes. So if there was one thing that saved this ship for me, it was the food. I thought the food was excellent. So the standouts for me, I really liked the Indulge Food Hall. The food there was very good, but not even just the food, just the concept of it, because you can go and sit at Indulge. There's multiple different food styles that you can order from, or kind of food locations. If you sit in a general area at Indulge Food Hall, you get to order from any one of those locations. Literally a push of a button and somebody is showing up at your table within minutes with a plate of hot food. I loved that. I love that I got to try a variety of different things. Now, if you go to a certain location, like if you just pick one of those locations and sit at the actual food bar there, you have to order from that specific spot. So if you want the variety, make sure you sit at one of those like tables that's within the dining area or the outside lounge area that's right outside of Indulge Hall. That was by far, my favorite free food option or included food option on board. And they have breakfast there too. I don't think a lot of people knew that, but they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner times at Indulge Food Hall. I thought the buffet food was very good too. The only thing that stood out as being bad was some weird Parmesan chicken that we just don't count that as somebody messed up that day, because everything else was good. I did think it was a little odd that I feel like most of the time on ships you can get pizza any time of day, late into the evening. It's not like that on Norwegian. Pizza's only available when the buffet is open. So that buffet is closing at a certain time of the day and then reopening again for dinner. In between, there's no pizza. Late night, there's no pizza. When you get into specialty dining, I thought that for a ship of this size, there were a lot of specialty dining restaurants on board. And the ones that we tried were Cagney's and Sugotai, which Sugotai is the new Thai spot that is only on Norwegian Aqua right now. It will be on Luna when it comes out. I thought that was really, really good. Phenomenal food. It is real Thai spice. Like, you don't play with it. If you're not here for the spice, it's not just a little bit of a touch of heat. It is packing real heat in those dishes. So, but the food was amazing. I thought Cagney's food was amazing as well. The service was well. And if you have a child that's under 12 years old, your child can eat off that specialty dining, or not the specialty dining, off the kids menu for free. It is specific to the kids menu though. They can't go and get steak and lobster and stuff like that. But a free meal is a free meal if you got a kid that like chicken nuggets and burgers and things like that. It's kind of nice to be able to have them come with you to a specialty dining spot and get to enjoy without having to pay the price of a specialty dining restaurant. So I enjoyed the food. I think overall I have to give it like a 9.5. I thought the food was just great.
Okay.
The only thing I will say, the wings at the local, I thought those could have been better, but shout out to them for just having wings available on the ship, because I feel like most of the time you can only get them on the room service menu. So it was nice to just see them available somewhere.
All right. Thank you, my foodie sister. I appreciate that. Lots to look forward to with the food on these two ships. And Leslie Ann, your take on Norwegian Aqua's food.
So I had one specialty dining included with my cruise fare, and I went to Sukhothai. Loved it. The aesthetic of Sukhothai, when I looked in the first time, I was like, doesn't look specialty dining. However, the food, the waiters, the way they're dressed and everything, it was really, really nice. I had a really good time. They accommodated me because I wasn't at the window. I asked if I could move. They moved me to the window. It was really nice. The food, I enjoyed the food. And the spice, for real, it's kicking. for the spice. For my boarding day, they were actually directing everyone to go to Indulge Food Hall. And I went to Indulge Food Hall, and despite me being solo, it was really hard for me to get a seat because I did, as Kiki said, I didn't want to sit at one particular station. I wanted to sit where I could order from everything, but it was just so crowded because they were directing everyone there. So I decided to go to the buffet, and the buffet was really good. It was really, really good on embarkation day. I did Indulge Food Hall. I think I only did it for lunch because it was just a 4-day sailing. So it was really hard to do everything. No, I actually did it for dinner and it was nice. I ordered too much food. Don't ask me how I got so much food on the table. I love the naan. The barbecue chicken was good. I really highly, recommend the Indulge Food Hall. But, Kiki, I'm not sure if I agree with you with the wings because I enjoyed the wings. I'm a wings girl. And that the local being able to go there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and get your wings if you want carrot cake, if you want ice cream, and they accommodate you. So for that, I really, appreciated the local, especially the time that it ends at like 3 a.m. I really, really and truly enjoyed the local. So for food, I'll give it an I'll give it a I'll give it a 9
A
for
9. All
food.
right.
Yeah,
So not
I'll give
bad.
it
They're
a
kind
9.
of neck and neck in this category, which is good. It's
Yeah.
an important category.
Yeah, the food made up for the
A bad
flow.
navigation. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It
So
really did. It was a step up.
from food, of course, food and drinks I usually put together, but you could also put drinks with entertainment. So I'm going to I told the ladies ahead of time the categories, but I'm going to kind of merge a few of them. Drinks was going to be a part of it, but we'll throw that in with entertainment, music, and overall vibe. So I don't know what area is going to stand out. So this is like really your cruise experience if you never step off the ship. And some people do cruise just for the ship and what it has to offer. So how would you rate entertainment, including music, maybe drinks if you consider that, your thing and that's part of a big part of the cruise for you, and overall vibe? We're going to start with Raquel. We'll start with you with MSC World America.
So I don't know if I can truly rate this because with the media sailing, we had celebrities on board. We had Gloria Estefan, which was, I mean, I didn't see it, but I saw some of the footage. Was amazing. We had a drone show. So it's kind of hard because I didn't really get to see a lot of the typical entertainment and things. I felt like things were like there was a DJ set, there was things happening that probably didn't happen on the other sailings. So I don't want to say that it was good or bad, but I will say that the whole, oh my gosh, was it Dirty Dancing? I wasn't a fan of the matinee. And I learned after the fact that, like, I literally went in and it was pretty much them showing the movie, and then they would come out and dance in between the movie, little sets or whatever. And I was like, okay, this is what Dirty Dancing is. And they kind of, really, shared a lot about Dirty Dancing before the cruise. So I was excited for it and I didn't care for it. Then I learned after the fact that they were doing a matinee as well as the evening show. So I appreciated the fact that they now have a matinee show for those who like. I don't like to stay up late, so I like that, but I didn't like the matinee itself. But entertainment across the ship, cruise director is amazing. I mean, he may not always be the cruise director. Dr. E, he was amazing, high energy, loved him. Um, I just think all of the entertainment and things that I saw was very specific to the media sailing. So, but if I were to rate what I experienced, I would probably say a 9 out of 10 with not caring for Dirty Dancing.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's definitely fair. All right. Thank you, Raquel.
Mhm.
Next up, we're going to go to Carlene regarding MSC World America, entertainment and vibe.
Yeah, entertainment and vibe, I'm going to give it an 8. Because I think they had all the elements there. And also, I have to preface this with, I went on an inaugural. So I think that they threw all the elements there, but they have to work on the flow. And it's wild because Meraviglia, I keep saying go back to Meraviglia. Meraviglia, they had the vibe down pat, and they had amazing flow to all their activities. Where every night you could predict, like everybody, like they would have a family friendly activity of some sort. So it'll be like dancing with the officers or the silent party. They will always have something in the atrium that got everybody there. It'd be like a family friendly party, and then there was always an adults only party like on the back side of the ship, and then there was like an after party that was actually for like kids and adults. It was weird, but every night you knew the flow. With World America, because there were so many activities, so there would be dirty dancing going on, then there'll be a party in Luna Park, then they would open up another party in the Panorama Room. And on a 7-night cruise, it's not a party cruise. So what happens is they were splitting the population a little too much, so that those who were reveling, interested in partying, were just split across the ship in too many different ways. So that took a part away from it. Like Luna Park had probably the best parties theming I've ever seen at sea. With the ski party where it literally snows, they had a Miami party, and their ladies dressed up in feathers. Like they have all the elements. It was just they were spreading people too far across the ship. So I think they're going to get it. But they just had to figure out a flow for their activities. Something else that recently I heard T, so shout out to T from Adventures that hit on this, and I couldn't put my finger like, what's going on with MSC drinks? And their alcoholic beverages are a little basic. They have more options at their bars than like, let's say Carnival, but I don't know, it's something that like it doesn't hit the nail fully on the head. Even like the Gin Project, which this could be an inaugural issue. We went to Gin Project, and so I was like, hey, I'm not a gin drinker, but I had this drink package. I want to experience what Gin Project is, which basically you go there, you build a gin drink with all these elements that they have on this menu. The wait staff couldn't really explain to me like how to make a really good, cocktail and I'm like, well, the whole concept is you make your own cocktail kind of, or design your own cocktail. On top of Gin Project was right above this really loud pub area. So their music was blasting, trying to figure out that. The Elixir bar was good for the most part, but they still had some drinks for that to be their upscale bar that kind of fell flat for me. So I'm going to give the entertainment an 8. I think they have some really good concepts. They had an amazing Whitney Houston tribute show. Get there if you can. Shout out to Rich and Jazz. That would not have been on my radar if I didn't see it on their story. But they have all the elements there. It's just kind of, they're going to have to work, and hopefully they can lean on Dr. E or with his experience. They're going to just have to figure out how to get the ship to flow the way that it needs to flow so that the right people can get to the parties at the same time. Last example was like solo meetup. They put the solo meetup at the same time that like something was happening with the captain. So people were kind of like, I want to meet the captain, do the captain's toast. But then there was a solo meetup going on. So it fell flat because people decided not to go to the solo meetup because whatever the competing event was going on. And it was also like on, I think, gala night. So they have to look at those kind of elements to get things to flow the right way. So 8.
Thank you for that. Very insightful. Leslie Ann, entertainment and vibe, music, all the stuff on MSC. What do you rate it, and what do you want to share about it?
I agree with Colleen with the fact that because some of the events ended up being kind of empty because it was spread too thin, like the timeline. So I agree with that. But the snow party was really nice with the snow falling and the skis and everything. The Miami party, that was pumping. The Miami party. I love the panorama, the aesthetic in there, the lighting and everything. But I was happy in there because I did get my soca, of course. So, Colleen, I'll give it a little higher marks because they did play a lot of soca in the panorama. So I really and truly enjoyed. And Colleen even pulled me on the floor, She got me there. So with the entertainment, it was really nice. I'll give them a I'll give them an 8.5 to 9 because of the music and me being able to get my favorite genre. And my two left feet, I don't know how I'm a soca girl, but the line dancing, I'm definitely not good with it. But I tried. So with Dr. E giving that line dance class, I think it had like two classes, party kind of day party. So I would give actually a 8.5. And they kind of introduced like new stuff. Instead of just like the sexy man competition, they had like different games and stuff on the pool deck. Kicking the ball and different activities. So I'll give it an 8.5. They just need to figure out how to get the people to the venues. Um, in terms of MSC World America, but it's gonna get better. We won the inaugural. So, they'll work it out. They definitely would work it out. They
So
have the vibes.
since we're with you and you did both MSC World America and Norwegian Aqua, I'm going to ask you to jump over to Norwegian now and let us know how the entertainment, the vibe, and everything was there.
Yeah, the vibes in the club, they were in improv club for the nighttime party. They had the people, but they didn't wow me because I only got my soca one night. The other nights, there was no soca. But the music was there. It's cruise music. It's a cruise, so they have to, accommodate everyone. But the one night that we had soca was so good. The DJ was just like insistent, okay, you know what? I need to do this. So the vibes in the improv is really nice. The bartenders, whoa, fully staffed. It had like about 10 bartenders. And they were like, yeah, 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 yeah. They were like going with the music. They kept you entertained in improv. So I'm going to give them a high score because of that. The deck parties, not so great. It was okay. It's no Dr. E. So, so the deck parties, they were okay.
Gotcha.
I liked the Prince show. The first show we had was the Elements, and that was they give you like the forces of nature. You had earth, water, air, fire. That was really nice. The fire aspect I really loved. So that show was good. I really liked that show. Prince show, they had it where you could either sit in the audience or you could be on the floor, like if it's a concert. So I was on the floor. So that was like a really nice vibes. You're like there and it's like you like really in a concert, at a Prince concert. So that was really nice. The only downfall with that is that they moved the prop to make a guitar. So you're on the floor and they're kind of like telling you, okay, move, move. You gotta shift. So pro tip, if you're going on the floor, kind of stay on either side, like stay more in the side, more to the back, because if you go right up to the stage, they're gonna be like telling you to move so they could make the guitar. But I think they should just create the guitar from the beginning of the show so that you could be on the floor and just enjoying the show like you had a real concert. So that was really nice. And Alicia Lomotola or something like that. She's the one, she played Lion King. She was the singer. She did Lion King in the theater. I think it's in the UK though. Beautiful. She had everyone crying. That was the last night. She tribute her music and everything to her dad. So she just had everyone crying. Beautiful voice. But I'm not sure if she's gonna be there for every sailing. She did one show, but that was really beautiful. Casino was nice. I didn't really play, but they took the whole floor, the lower deck. They took the whole deck 5, I believe, or deck 6 was the casino. So the casino is huge. So with entertainment with Aqua, I'll give it an 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5. I enjoyed it.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Sounds fair to me. I'm happy you got the Prince show. So I'm going to go over to Kiki, who did not get Prince. audience and ask how your experience was. But before you jump in, Kiki, something sounded very familiar to me, and I want to know if you saw that too, or in hearing it, if you didn't see it. Elements, isn't that what we saw on Celebrity?
It is what we saw on Celebrity, and I was wondering if it was the exact same show or not.
Right.
But yeah, we did see Elements on Beyond. So
you see people knock MSC for taking things from other places, but they all do it, just in different ways. So anyway, as you were.
Okay. So my experience was a little different from Leanne's. For one, as soon as we got on board, we immediately found out that the print show was canceled, which that just down, like just immediately no. Yes, so thumbs down. See, I agree. And so that already had kind of been sitting in the back of our head, like, man, we didn't get to do that one. But you also couldn't reserve any shows. And then that coupled with the overcrowding issues that I talked about earlier, it really made it difficult to get to shows on our sailing. So we would show up, 15, 20 minutes early to the theater shows and wouldn't be able to get a seat because it was standing room only at that point. And so I'm just not one to go and sit 35, 45 minutes ahead of time to wait for a show to start while I'm on a cruise. I feel like my cruise time is precious and I shouldn't have to, so I don't. And so I think that our experience probably would have been a little bit better with entertainment if we would have been able to actually see some of those shows. The same thing with the comedy club for us. We made it there one time for a comedy show, and the comedy show we did make was great, but we did have to go very early in order to get to see it. Every other time that we tried to go, it was just always crowded. Sid Norman's never even stepped inside of it because there was always just a crowd hanging out the door every time we walked past there. So I guess that must be a very popular Norwegian venue for events. So, and that's kind of why I was really shocked, because all I've been hearing is about how they've made all these improvements because of feedback that came from the previous Norwegian ship, and you just did not see these improvements come to life to me. So the entertainment for me, I can only go off my experience. I'm giving it like a 5, y'all, because if I can't get to the show, I can't enjoy the show if I can't even get into it. And that's a part of the cruise experience. I like shows. I like to be able to go sit down and watch something good. Couldn't do it. So yeah. First 5 of the night. See, I know.
Wow. Yeah, that was real low. But it was real low for them to not have the Prince show that they knew everybody wanted to see. So there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to add, I think accessibility as well to the theater, because it seems as though they had the seats flipped. Like the seats were flipped up in the back and they had the accessible sign. And I'm like, where's somebody who has a scooter or a wheelchair? Where are they going to be? Because most theaters on the cruise ship, everyone with a scooter is in the back. I don't think they really catered for accessibility in the theater as well. And it seemed a bit small. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah.
If I can too, to add to that,
yeah.
Accessibility, I think in general on this ship was just not great. Like there were a lot of, when I think about some of the walkways, and another issue with crowd control too, if you have a walkway that's only wide enough for one line of people to walk through, why would you ever put that on a cruise ship? And why would you have it by your pool deck? Like this is where all the people are going to congregate. So if it's only wide enough for one straight line of people to get through, imagine trying to navigate that with an accessibility device, with a walker, with a wheelchair, with a scooter. It's going to be very difficult, and it's going to cause everything around to back up too, right? So now that's another issue with crowding in the area. So I think they could have put a lot more thought into accessibility across the board on the show.
Definitely good to know. I'm getting more and more excited about one of these ships. Another one is giving me some pause, but we're going to go ahead with both of them, and I'll let you know if they've improved. But yeah, that's definitely good to know. I want to hop into crew, and I don't know how to frame it or phrase it. The crew, the service on board, and like kind of have that lead into like the wrap up of overall who you think the ship is for. So how was the service you experienced on your respective ships? The crew, were they friendly? Were they, regular schmegular crew? And who do you think this ship is for? We'll start with Carlene.
All right. So MSC is doing a lot of work with their crew. I remember sailing on Seashore with Sig, and I was like, oh, they're friendly now. So they've maintained that on World America. Again, it'll get better as the crew learns their groove and their places and positions, and all the things, nuances of the ship. So it was a tad bit, not too bad, rough on that first sailing, but I will say the sweetest thing happened at the end of my cruise. My cabin steward wrote a handwritten note and left it on my bed. That I feel like I love a handwritten note. That's something that I send my clients. So for it to be, again, the price, etc., like, I think that was a big, I don't know, that was a nice detail for me that I don't think, like, most cruise lines or for that price point would have left. Like, I mean, for any, I guess, I don't know, to kind of put in perspective, like, I almost paid $1,000 for a Carnival Conquest ship cruise I'm going on later in the year. And this is a 7-day cruise on the largest ship in the fleet. And the guy is taking the time. I know and those hallways are long. And I'm not sure how many of those hallways he had, but the fact that he stopped and wrote a handwritten note was very meaningful to me. So I think those of you who are selling later in the year, they're going to definitely get it down pat. I know I think Rockwell, you were definitely hitting on during the media selling. It seemed a little like a lot of training, but I think they're going to gel. And I think MSC has at least told them, hey, smile, try to go the extra mile. So I would say from my first MSC cruise to now my fourth, they have gotten it together for sure. So you get to see those changes that MSC is making. I even, again, going back to that one example of when I was at the breakfast buffet and overheard the lady asking for assistance for food. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. Like, it was kind of a mixed bag. And you can see one staff member was like, ma'am, just tell me what you want. I'll go get it for you. Initially, the first staff member was kind of like, she didn't understand what was like kind of, what's going on. But the other lady kind of stepped up and was like, hey, I'll go get that, item for me. Just describe what you want and I'll make sure you can get it. So you can just see that it's not, again, what it was. I don't even remember how many years ago that was, 2-3 years ago. It's definitely progressed in the right direction in regards to how they're training their staff. But just give it a little more time with it being a new ship. It's a big ship and they still probably have some vacancies they need to fill. But I think they're off to a great start. The handwritten note, again, I could probably give that a 10, but I probably witnessed a couple of things. I was like, that could use a little help. So, to be generous, it was an inaugural cruise, probably a 9 on regards to staff. That handwritten note just blew me away.
I've yet to have that happen ever. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, over to Raquel. We're sticking with MSC.
So I would say, as Carleen mentioned, I felt like majority of the crew were brand new crew members, brand new to MSC. I had crew members asking me where to go, like, how do I get here? I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. So I feel like MSC needs to do a better job of, especially with new ships, making sure there's a good mesh of some of those, veteran crew members coming on board. And I know there probably were some, but I just felt like the ones that were kind of front line, it was like they were in training. And again, in inaugural media sailing, they're in training and they're learning things. But it just felt like out of all of the inaugurals that I've been on, it was like I felt like everyone was in training and it was more than I've ever seen on any other cruise. So for me, like the main dining room for the gala night, service was slow. I didn't even get to eat because service, we were there 2 hours and only had our appetizer. So I know over time things will get better. But I will say, and I agree with Carleen with this, I've never felt MSC's crew like ever on any ship have like gone above and beyond. They're not the crew that's going to know you by name or just, you'll find some that'll come and, try to have conversation with you or just extra friendly, but that's just not the case for most MSC cruises. But I felt on MSC World America, there was a different vibe. I felt like people were greeting you. They were smiling. They were being as helpful as they could be with whatever knowledge they had or training they had. So for me, like, I'm excited because I'll be back in December. I'm curious to see how things will shift and turn. And I kind of sense that, yes, they've been trained to make sure you're giving eye contact, make sure you're talking to the guests, make sure you're, speaking, because I couldn't tell you how many times I've walked down an MSC hallway and walk right past room stewards and they don't speak, say good morning, do anything. I don't get offended by that, but I know that can turn a lot of people off when you're just not at least, cordial. So for me, I would say the crew, considering that it was a media sailing, I would probably say an 8 out of 10.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's fair. And with that, Leanne Travel, you also did MSC. So I'm going to ask you to do your MSC overall rating, and then your we go right from MSC into your Norwegian. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make it flow so my guests don't get too tired.
Okay. So for the staff on MSC, they were a lot more friendlier than on. I did MSC Maravilia. That was my only other MSC. So in terms of my room steward, was a vast difference. And as Raquel said, they don't know your name. Like on all other cruise ships, they always know your name. I don't know how they remember your name, but the room steward, especially from day one, they're like calling your name, and on MSC, I didn't get that, nor did I get it on Aqua. So in terms of being personal and knowing my name and calling me like that, they did not do that. However, the staff, they were still friendly and saying hi and stuff. So, that was good. The wait staff, however, they were in training. And the night of my lobster, that was a whole that
lady was telling us her personal business, and I was like, ma'am.
Yes, the makeup and everything.
She got a little too personal, huh?
Yeah,
You got a little too comfortable.
too comfortable. Yeah, so the whole thing with the wait staff, they need like the training, and they should have, for a new ship, they should have some veterans on the ship that knows what they're doing, especially for the inaugural. We go on the inaugural, we know everything is not going to be perfect, but at least if they have some veterans, you're going to get that feel that, hey, they know what they're doing. But for the photography team, oh my gosh, I love taking photos. Oh my gosh.
Leslie Ann, you rate photography 10 out of 10 on every MSC ship, okay?
10 out of 10.
You do it all the time.
MSC, listen, guys, if you're going on any MSC, get the photo package. It's $140 for all the digital photos that you can take. I highly recommend it. This photography staff on MSC, they were so friendly. It was like my last night was like greeting them. They were the best. So because of that, because of the photography, I'm definitely giving them, I'll give them a 9, 8.5, 9, because of the photography.
You ramped us up to 8.5.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the other, my lobster and everything in the, it's kind of,
You got to work hard for that 10 from Leslie Ann, okay?
Yeah,
best of the best, 8.5.
I'll give them a 10. I'll give the photo. Trust me, they're so good. They're friendly. They're nice. Oh my gosh, Ocean Key. I got some really nice photos. They're really nice. Even Colleen got photos, even though she didn't want to take photos.
Well, thank you for that. How would you rate?
Yes.
And Norwegian. Now, I don't know if you took photos there, but overall cruise service.
Oh, Aqua, I don't know. They were not prepared. They were understaffed. You could see like the work. They did not complain. The workers did not complain, especially in the restaurant. They did not complain, but they were understaffed. There were certain areas, even with cleaning, like in the 3 deck, the main area. I've never seen a cruise ship with like dust and stuff, but they were understaffed on the Aqua. So they need to get better with that. I don't know if they had a staffing issue, but you could tell that they were understaffed. The staff didn't complain, but for us who have cruised before, even disembarkation day, there was only one person guiding the line. So people were skipping the line. So they were definitely understaffed. The shore excursion, the lady was trying to do
other things versus like giving you that eye contact versus like making it feel like you're the guest. I'm dealing with you and I'm dealing with you. You could see she had all this thing doing in front of her. So they were definitely understaffed and they were overworked. They didn't complain. But the main thing is that for me, I have an allergy with chocolate allergy, and you cannot bring me the cheesecake with chocolate on top of the cheesecake. So Aqua totally missed that. The wait staff, because they always ask you, are you allergic to anything? Are you allergic to this? Are you allergic to that?
Mm-hmm.
So they actually bought me cheesecake and it had a stick of chocolate on the top of it.
I was just going to
So
ask you if they missed asking, but yeah, I'm used to them
no, they
asking as well.
asked.
So that was a
Yeah,
big.
two of them, two of the assistant server. I don't even know if it was because they seemed like they were working so many tables.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think they need to do better with that. And I'm sure in time, for whoever is listening, they will get better. I was on the second sailing, so that's pretty much the inaugural season. So I'm
Right.
curious to know with Kiki's sailing if they were understaffed as well. So for that, I'll give them a 7, especially they miss my chocolate allergy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big one. The Kiki, with that, what do you rate Norwegian Aqua's service, crew, and all that good stuff?
I definitely agree with Leanne. You could tell that they were understaffed. I think that they did their best to do what they could with what they had. But there were a few sort of isolated incidents that I ran into that I just have not experienced on a cruise ship before. I had a run-in with an employee at the spa, and I had an issue with, a desk employee, the guest services desk employee, who was trying to convince me to remove my gratuities from my account. And it came off really weird, and just, I don't know what that was about. Now I do think those were probably, well, I will say, I think the spa issue was probably an isolated thing with that particular employee and not an overall staff issue. I don't know about that gratuity thing though, because I kind of saw some evidence that they might have been doing that with a few different people. So that's concerning to me. But as far as the way we were treated on board, from the room staff, from the restaurant staff, from the people servicing the different desks, I always felt like I was treated appropriately, with the exception of that one run in at the spa. But yeah, it was very evident that they were understaffed. They were putting these next cruise, they pushed next cruise really hard on NCL, and they were throwing flyers everywhere, and it was all in the app, and they were just really encouraging everybody to go to the next cruise desk. But the next cruise desk line was always very long, because it was always just one or two people working at that desk. So it just another one of those things of very long lines, long waits, things that you don't want to do when you're on a vacation. So I would say I would give it a 7 too. But yeah, I think it could use some improvement.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. Leslie Ann, I see your hand, girl. We're not in
Yeah.
class. Go ahead.
I just want to add the spa. For the spa, the spa is really nice, but I had a great experience in the spa, because pro tip for whomever is on Norwegian Aqua, go to the spa on the first day, get that tour, the spa tour, fill out that raffle, and go to that first raffle, because you never know, you might get lucky to win some of those raffles. And I actually kept it. So this is one of the things, I don't know if you might be able to see it, I doubt it. So I got this, it was a spa manager's raffle. I didn't win, but they offered us, it was like a $249 package. It was the sweetest body massage, the pro collagen eye treatment, foot and ankle massage, neck and shoulder massage, hand and arm massage. And you could add the bamboo and stuff if you want for $20. But for $149, this was not bad at all. So you should go to the spa tour, fill out that raffle, attend the raffle, because that's where they offer this special. So you might be able to get this at a really good deal, especially the 75 minutes massage. It was really good for $149.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds good. And For the folks watching, I do know that there have been some questions in the chat. I will ask my guests who are also hosts, because a lot of you are also watching from their respective channels. I will ask if they've seen any questions that pop out that they absolutely want to get to tonight. But I really appreciate all this feedback. Speaking of the spa that Leslie Ann was just talking about, I could go with a good massage right now, sitting at this computer for almost 2 hours. And I appreciate my guests hanging in there. And I don't want to rush through everything, but I do want to respect them and their time and try to wrap this up while still giving you guys all the quality information that each of these channels always brings. So with that, I want each guest to say, with the experience they've had, who this ship is for, whichever ship they were on, and Leslie Ann was on both, who this ship is for, and if someone wants to book this ship with you, how do they go about that? And we will start with Raquel.
So I would say MSC World America is for everyone. Although I rated it 9 out of 10 for the younger children, I think it's still a family ship. Whether you're solo, family, something else to know about MSC or MSC World America is that they do have solo cabins. So if you are a solo cruiser, they do offer, and they have some really, really good rates for those. They only have the interior and ocean view, I think, right? I think so. But they have some really, really good rates on MSC World America. So I would say, families, anyone that's budget conscious, if you look at the pricing for MSC World America compared to, as Carlene said, even a 4 or 5 night cruise on Carnival, you will get a better value with MSC, and a lot of times with like drinks and Wi-Fi and things included. So I push a lot of MSC. I sell a lot of MSC. And really it's for those people that want to cruise on a budget, but you're going to have it's a great product. I mean, you're going to have overall good entertainment, good food. So I recommend it for everyone.
Thank you for that. And if people want to book MSC with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Sure. My agency is Major Adventures Travel. So you can just, if you Google it, it'll pop up. So majoradventurestravel.com. We can help you out.
Thank you, Raquel. I'm here trying to multi-triple task. Y'all bear with me, please, but I'm putting it in the chat. Major Adventures Travel for Raquel. And we're going to hop over to Kiki. Who is this ship for?
So I think Norwegian Aqua. Yes, I think the ship is for a more mature cruiser, and specifically when you think about families with kids, I think if you have an older child, that this ship could work for you. I think it worked well for us as a family traveling with an 11-year-old. I don't think that my son would have enjoyed it as much if he were in that younger age, the 5, 6, 7. I think we would have had a difficult time with them. So yeah, if you're a family, you have children that are a little bit older, or if you're just looking for an adults only experience, it sounds like, I can't speak to it myself because I'm not a solo cruiser. It sounded like the solo experience might be good because of the different things that NCL does for solo cruisers. But yeah, I think you would have to be, if you're somebody that want a good meal, the food is gonna get you. The food is gonna get you right. I can guarantee that. So older, more mature families that have older kids and somebody that wants some good food, I think that the ship will work for you.
That sounds good. That sounds fair for a cruise. With that, if someone wants to book the Norwegian Aqua with you, how can they reach you?
You can reach me at booking@teamreachtravels.com. That is my direct email address. You reach out and we will help you get you booked on the Norwegian Aqua or whatever else you think you want to cruise on.
That sounds good to me. All right. Thank you, Kiki. And with that, we're going to go over to Carlene. Who is the MSC World America for? And I will say, give us your solo cruiser perspective on that. Is it for solo cruisers?
Oh, dang. Okay. So I'll do 2-part real quick. So I was going to say initially, MSC World America or MSC in general is if you like the big or the Bs, big, beautiful ships on a budget. That's MSC. Knowing that you're going to take some hits for those beautiful ships in that budget, but it's definitely for you. Now, when it comes to solos, I will say each ship has its own personality and can be a little different. I will say I had a wonderful time as a solo cruiser on Mirabilia. Seashore didn't have as tight of programming. And then World America, I had people like Leslie Ann and Regina and the Melanin Sea Crew. So we had our own little group, but they still kind of fell a little short because they planned some of the solo activities on top of the activities that myself as solo cruiser want to get to. So I would say if you're a solo traveler, someone who's able to, you know, make some friends versus using the solo program to make those connections. But again, the Bees, big, beautiful ships on a budget. And if you want to book them with me, you can email me at seeitwithc@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to get you situated with MSC Cruises.
Thank you, Carlene. Now over to Leslie Ann. While I put Carlene's Gmail in the chat, Leslie Ann, who is the Norwegian Aqua for?
I will tell you who it's not for. It's definitely not for younger kids. For the little 2-year-old, 3-year-old. No, it's not for the younger kids. You have to have like a teenager, and more so like on the older side of a teenager, because I literally on the Prima I had a little girl said, "Oh, I'm going bingo with my grandma," because she didn't have anything to do. So so with the Aqua, they didn't really fix that. They have the Aqua Coaster, so that's the only like water activities. The pool is a little too small like for the young kids, and it's like kids. So I would say late teens and adults the Aqua is for. It's not for someone whose has mobility, accessibility. You know, they need that. I don't agree with them going on that ship. In terms of the solo, yes. If you solo, definitely you could do it. They just need on the Aqua, they need to go back to like the Bliss and the other solo cabins where they meet in the solo lounge versus meeting at the whiskey bar where it's so loud that you can't hear. But for a solo, yes, definitely. I paid like $1,293 for my solo experience. It's definitely worth it. So I would say older teen to adults for the for Aqua. I'm sorry. Too many ships.
Older teen to adults for Norwegian Aqua.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you for that. And for MSC World America, who would you say that's for?
Oh God, I need to change my picture because I am definitely team MSC because
Oh wait, yeah, what is that? That's the Norwegian thing
yeah,
behind
I have
you?
both. Yeah, I have both on the top. Yeah, pictures. You can't really see it good. But I need to flip it. I had it there, but I don't want to mess with it. Next thing I cut myself off. Listen, MSC is for everyone. You get the kids' activities, you have the bumper cars, you have the slide, you have that crazy swing that I wouldn't go on. What's the name of it? I can't even remember.
Cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger. Oh yeah. You have everything, you know, that you could do on MSC. You have all the arcade games and everything. So it's good for the young ones. It's good for the teens. It's good. You know, to me, it's overall everyone. I took my nephew, so we paid like $1,095 per person in an interior cabin, which was nice. I had my own closet. I was very happy. On MSC, I had great friends. You know, I sailed, you know, with Colleen and Regina, my nephew Darren. So I would say it's for everyone. Team MSC, World America.
Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah. So, not that I hate the Aqua. I don't hate the Aqua. It's just that you have to have.
You gotta pick
you know,
one.
the food.
You gotta pick
yeah,
one.
you have to pick the ship. Yeah. If you love the food and the casino and stuff, yeah, you're gonna be happy on Aqua. And the entertainment was good.
And you know what I say, you can't really have a bad cruise. You really can't have a bad cruise. You're on vacation, make the best of it always. If someone wants to book one of these ships with you, Leslie Ann, how do they reach you?
Okay, so my email address is leanntravel@yahoo.com, LEANN travel@yahoo.com. You can book the MSC, the Aqua, any cruise ship that you would like. And I actually have a group that's ending with good prices. So check me out. I'm posting it.
Okay. And you said it's LEAN?
LEANN travel at yahoo.com.
At
You
Yahoo.
spelled it
Okay.
correctly. You have it right on my channel.
Okay. And is that the email that just popped up in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all 4 of you ladies. And before we are done, I want you ladies to have the opportunity to say if you have any group cruises coming up. I know you do. And I know Raquel has one on one of these ships. So we'll start there.
So yeah, so we have a few group cruises coming up, but I'll just mention the 2 MSC ones since we're talking MSC. So we have MSC World America for the holidays, December 20th through the 27th. It is the itinerary that's going to Roatan, Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Ocean Cay. We only have a few cabins left, so we have a nice sized group joining us. We have a really nice discounted rate currently that has drinks, Wi-Fi included, and our rate with drinks and Wi-Fi is actually cheaper than just the regular rate currently without drinks and Wi-Fi. So reach out if you want to get booked and join us. I think right now we have about 22 or 23. No, we have more than that. We have 27 or 28 cabins booked for that sailing. So we're going to have a nice size group, World America. And then if you are a lady and you want to cruise with me and my sisters, we have a Sisters Cruising Abroad on MSC World Europa, which is the sister ship. I've been watching PETA's vlogs from that one. So if you want to go abroad to Barcelona, we will be there next June 12th through the 19th. We have a nice size group going for that one as well. We would love to have you. It is a ladies only trip. I've been getting a lot of questions about men going. It is a ladies only. So if you want to join us, feel free to reach out.
Thank you for that, Raquel.
Thank you.
You guys hit up Raquel for these group trips. We're going to go to Kiki. What do you have coming down the pipeline?
So we have a group cruise hosted by myself and my son, RJ. If you guys watch our channel, you know that we cruise together often. We do mom and me trips. And we decided to plan one together to bring some friends along with us. So next year, August 3rd through 7th of 2026, we have the Mom and Me Royal Summer Splash. That is going to be on the Wonder of the Seas. That's going to be our ending to the summer before we head back to school and all the things. And we have about 11 cabins booked right now. So looking forward to that. We got a few spots left. So if anyone's interested, definitely reach out to that booking at teamreachtravels.com. We can get you on board. The prices are very nice because I snagged those cabins as soon as they came open. So they are already looking way better than what's available right now. So yeah, definitely reach out if you guys are interested. If you want to come and bring a kid with you, if you want to come and bring your parent with you, if you just have other kids or parents or anybody in your life that you want to come and sail with, grab them, bring them on a Mom and Me cruise. We're going to have a good time.
Sounds good. We love a Mom and Me cruise. Hit up Kiki for that one. And just as she mentioned before, any of your travel needs, you can hit up all of these ladies, and we will jump back over to Leslie Ann. Do you have any group cruises planned, ma'am?
So I don't have a group cruise plan, but I did book the MSC Meraviglia for a client, and they did not take the group. They didn't take the booking, and I totally forgot about it until I was actually booking someone for that date. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have the group space. So I actually have 8 or 9 cabins on that cruise, August 24th to August 30th on the MSC Meraviglia. Great pricing, internet and Wi-Fi and drinks included. You could get an interior cabin as low as $8 something, a balcony for $1,000. That is a great price for drinks and Wi-Fi. So I have the space. It's August 24th through the August 28th. I'm not going to be on the cruise, but I have the group space. It expires on Monday, though. So if anyone is interested, reach out to me, leannetravel@yahoo.com.
Okay, that's awesome. So
You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. double clicked it. Reach out to Leanne, Leslie Ann at leannetravel@yahoo.com for the MSC Meraviglia this August. So she has that group space, and you have until Monday to snag it. So definitely reach out. And as Sydney Steffen said, good price indeed. Okay, so over to Carlene. Any group trips? And I know the answer to that. You got a
I
few.
do. Yeah, I'm only going to say Rockwell. Only going to share two. And I will first thanks all for allowing us to share the platform with you. Much appreciated. I have two opportunities to sail with me. Would love folks to join. I know there's a lot of talk about Virgin Voyages in the chat that I've been monitoring. So if you are interested in sailing Virgin Voyages, I have the Good Gov Getaway, which is Labor Day 2025. So we're leaving August 29th through September 3rd on my favorite lady ship, which is Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady, heading to Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. So that's that lovely Taino Bay cruise port. And of course, the beach club at Bimini, which is Virgin's big party. So if you're interested in that, you can, of course, email me at seeitwithc@gmail.com. Happy to get you hooked up for that one. That one, of course, is adults only. You can't make it this year. Then next year, I am teaming up with Sig, the solo cruiser, as well as the Jen Danielle Experience to do the ultimate solo group cruise. So your favorite group solo cruises are uniting. We're doing a quick little 4-day on Celebrity Reflection, but we're going to turn it out. And that's going to, if you haven't been to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we are going to get to tear that spot up a little bit, hopefully get over to Hideaway with a good group of folks. We figured the Grown and Sexiest Celebrity was a good choice to host that event. And then I have a few other things that are just coming up eventually. So stay tuned for that. But those are the two that are out on the streets at the moment. So hit me up. We'll love to sail with you all.
Yes, thank you, ladies. It's been a long night and a long chat, but I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everyone in the chat who stayed around, and please drop any comments or questions to things we may have missed in the actual comment section of the video. It's on all our channels, so if we have the answers, we will answer you in the comments there. Thank you again. I want to let you guys know, though, who the winner of the SmackDown is. I think it was pretty clear. I know nobody else was really writing down scores. I was, and that's why you see me looking down, because I got my little calculator going and I got, all my notes. So who do you think won, ladies?
World America!
By far.
MSC
So with all the
World
categories that we
America.
did, because I did consolidate some with Boarding Day, the Norwegian Aqua actually took that one with Boarding Day. And I did make it fair. I know that we have 3 World Americas and 2 Norwegian Aquas, but I did it fair and square, dividing by 30, out of, I did the math. I passed 3rd grade math. So with that, Aqua did actually win the Boarding Day. With the ship, MSC World America won by far. With the food, they were actually kind of neck and neck with food, but the World America did win. And with entertainment, World America. And with the crew and service on board, World America. So yeah, it was definitely almost clean sweep and an easy win for MSC. Thank you for sharing your perspectives, ladies. Thank you again to the chat, and have a great rest of your evening and week. Bye, guys.
Thank you for having us, Peter.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye,
Thanks, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.